This program is supported by the Innertown Record, your weekly hometown community newspaper covering the Kearsarge Sunapee Sunshine region of New Hampshire. The Innertown Record.
Welcome back to Yankee Chronicle. I'm your host, Abby Peel, coming to you from MJ Harrington Jewelers here on Main Street in Newport, celebrating 75 years of service to this town and to you, those jewelry lovers out there. And I'm now joined by the owner, David Lantz. Hello, David.
Good morning, Abby.
Happy 75th celebration. And I should mention that you are only 4 years younger, so it's not your 75th birthday as well. It's just MJ
Not
Harrington.
quite. That is correct.
Congratulations on such a huge milestone for any business, but specifically you guys right here in the heart of Newport. How's it feel to be celebrating 75 years?
It's pretty overwhelming when I start to think about the fact that we've been fortunate to hang around for 75 years and hope to do so for a long time into the future. The business actually started, though, my aunt and uncle bought a going business that had been run by a guy named Maurice Downing for about 22 years. And then, interestingly, Uncle Mike and Aunt Phyllis ran it for 22, had no children, sold it to my dad, who had been a watchmaker since the Second World War. He went to school on the GI Bill. But my Uncle Mike, most people are not aware, had to quit school in 8th grade to support his family during the Depression.
Wow.
So he was really kind of self-made guy, and he was a self-taught watchmaker. He loved, he was a natural mechanic, so he fixed everything from electric razors to clocks to watches, and they lived above the store, so they just worked all the time. So after their 22-year hitch, they were ready to retire and move to Florida. And having no children, they had that flexibility.
Sure.
So the store really began, though, back in the 1800s, and there was a gentleman by the name of Woodbury, Amos Woodbury, and then he sold to a guy after his son George joined him. They sold to an N.A. Norrie, and there were a couple of changes along the way, and then Mr. Downing bought the business in the 20s and made it somehow survive through the Great Depression, and was very active in this community as Rotarian and other service organizations. I guess the theme of service seems to run deep in the business, and it was something my dad and uncles, and my aunt were very clear about. They just said, hey, listen, you're here to serve the community in whatever way, so sometimes we can be serving in capacities other than the actual jewelry world, but it's just fun to be part of that. So
definitely.
That's how it's evolved in 1992. 22 years, interestingly, after Dad, and it wasn't planned this way, but he had the helm for 22 years and sold it to my brother Jeff and I, and then my brother Jeff moved to Denver in 1996, I believe, and I bought him out. So I've sort of disrupted that chain of 22 years, because I've been at it now for 31 years. And during that time, my first job was actually in New London. We opened a store in New London in 1976. And that was my first official job, and Phyllis and Mike Harrington came out of retirement to help me out for 3 months, and then come January 1st, they were gone. And they just said, you're on your own. So we hired one other person, and it was a small operation, but we were there for almost 20 years. And in the interim, we opened a store in Claremont in 1990, and that store was around for 20 years, and we closed that store in 2010.
Wow.
And really focused on this location. This has really been the heart and soul of our business forever, and we have old repairs that go back to 1952. We have an old watch we have not been able to find a family for, so it's in the downstairs vault. Hopefully someday we'll make a connection, and a grandchild or somebody will be able to identify it as their grandmothers or.
How cool is that?
So yeah, we hang on to everything. We've got a lot of space with big vault upstairs, but the same size vault downstairs. So we have a lot of storage area for really nice things.
I'm sure if some of those pieces could talk, you would love to know what they could say.
I sure would.
Talk about today currently. Obviously, you're still very successful because you just celebrated 75 years, but the staff and everything makes this such a wonderful place to be.
It does. We have a great crew. We have a finance lady that's been with us almost 25 years. We have goldsmiths. The one has been with me over 20 years, another one over 30 years. And it's refreshing, and certain levels of comfort exist when you've got that kind of quality people around you every day.
Right.
And we've got a couple of relatively new salespeople, that one's almost 7 years, the other's almost 4, and they've just absorbed the industry wonderfully, and they get people, and they really communicate well, and that's half the battle. They can always learn about jewelry if there are people like you that love to communicate.
Right, of course.
I mean, you would slide in here with no problem, because you just are very at ease communicating with folks. So
Pretty
that's the kind of
things
thing.
and working with
That's
people,
right.
sure.
There
I'd be
you go.
happy to work here, yes,
So
definitely.
that's what really makes it go, and we have been very blessed with a lot of support from the communities
absolutely have.
over the years,
Yeah.
and we feel very, very fortunate.
Definitely. Just recap quickly, how did the big 75th celebration go? I loved your ramp up to the 75 days with a picture each day on social media. That was really fun to see. But how was the big party to celebrate?
The big party was fun. It was technically a business after hours, which the local Chamber of Commerce's get together, and so the Lake Sunapee Region Chamber and the Newport Chamber kind of co-sponsored it, and we had close to 100 people that night here, and we gave away all kinds of gifts, and during the course of that week, last week, we gave away a couple of pieces of jewelry every day, some of which we made, some of which was donated by different vendors that we've worked with for most of our company's history.
Great.
And they wanted to be part of it, so they sent things to us, and it was just a really fun week, and now we've sort of felt like we're kicking off. Who knows what the rest of the year will hold.
Sure.
We will have an estate sale later on this summer, and we'll just do a lot of things that we can connect logically to the 75th. But I like the idea, media lady Stephanie said, let's do a picture every day for 75 days.
I loved it.
And it was such fun, because I had no idea. I just gave her all the pictures I could find.
Sure.
And she found a bunch more, and I had no idea every day what would be on the
It was a really fun thing to
Facebook
see,
page.
and be able to see somebody and say, hey, I know exactly who that is. So really fun. Well, David, I hope that you every day just feel like you've done such great success here for MJ Harrington's, and I'm sure you've made your aunt and uncle very, very proud, because they're the ones that got you here to start this wonderful thing.
They did. Thank you very much for being
David.
here, Abby.
Congratulations.
Thanks.
When we return, we'll hear from a few of David's employees about working in this wonderful business. First, these words from another YCN supporter. Please stay with us.